Hey there, folks. If you are struggling to convert internet leads into closed deals, you got to check out this video. I'm going to go over the 3 conversions you need to learn to actually turn those leads into transactions. Let's jump into it. When we're talking about internet leads for real estate, conversion rates from lead to actually close transactions for a lot of folks hover around 1%. That's normal, that's average. So a lot of folks get even less than that, right? If that's the average. The top teams though, the people doing this at the highest level, they average 3 to 5%. They are at least 3 times more productive with the same internet leads as everybody else. And the absolute highest performing teams can get up to 7.5% conversion rate to close transactions. So what is it that these folks are doing? How can they get such a high conversion rate? You probably already know about speed to lead, about consistent follow-up, scripts, all that stuff. I'm actually going to go even higher level here. At a fundamental level, the highest performing teams understand that you need to convert those leads 3 separate times to actually get them to close. Not understanding these 3 conversions is going to lead to failure at converting these internet leads. Okay, Gus, great, but what do you mean by that? Okay, that's where we can start. Conversion number one is conversion from internet lead into appointment. That is probably one of the toughest ones because it takes the most work. It takes a lot of time. That's where speed to lead really plays a huge role. Reaching out to folks, calling them within 5 minutes or less, preferably 15 to 16 touches within a 30-day time frame. That's where a lot of the legwork happens up front. A lot of these leads can take 7, 8, 9, 10 touches to reach out to them. We at Power ISA knew 16 touches within 30 days will get you talking to about half of those leads, right? The other half is going to take more effort than that. It can be months to have a conversation with them so you get an opportunity to set that appointment. Another important factor that can bump up your success, very top teams don't just rely on appointments. They don't just assume people are going to show up to those. They shoot for the live transfer. That way, they're getting that lead talking to the agent right away. They're making first contact as quickly as possible. And that agent is trying to get them in front of them face to face as soon as possible as well. Most people, year in, year out, still work with the first agent they meet with 60, almost 70% of the time. That's why that first conversion is so important. Another thing the top teams do is even if they set that appointment in person or over the phone or however, if the appointment falls through, it is not kept, they try to recover that appointment with everything they've got. They continue to follow up. You're back to square one. This person raised their hand at one point. Well, guess what? Whatever happened, they didn't show up and they keep working those leads. Top performing teams do not let leads fall through the cracks in the different stages of the cycle. No lead left behind is the kind of mentality you have to get the most out of these. This conversion is where ISAs can really help the most. ISAs can be dedicated to doing that speed to lead call within 5 minutes, diligently following up with these leads. It's not an issue for them because this is their job. That's why ISAs can be so important. And almost all of the top performing teams have someone dedicated to make sure that those leads are not falling through the cracks. It's unbelievably important to understand that. And if you don't have an ISA on your team, understand someone has to fulfill that role. It can be you, it can be another team member, it can be the admin, but someone has to do it if you want to see the great results the top teams get. There's a caveat to this, folks. It's not all sunshine and flowers. The handoff between ISA to the agent can be treacherous. Top teams know this and they put a lot of effort in making that handoff really, really strong by understanding what constitutes an appointment, what should be a live transfer, what's the price range, criteria, experience, and kind of profile that you want that lead to have in order for it to make sense to have an appointment. The last thing you want is the agents losing faith in that ISA team because the leads are very weak. The appointments never show up. They never pick up the phone. You don't want that. And the way to solve it is to have a super strong, clearly defined handoff process. Number two, the second conversion you need to focus on, because a lot of people think they're done with the first. The first is just 1 out of 3. The second conversion is the conversion to signed client. Once you get an opportunity to meet face-to-face with this person, or in a virtual scenario, face-to-face on a Zoom call, a FaceTime, it doesn't matter. Once you get a chance to get in front of that client, then it's the agent's responsibility to convert them into a signed client, whether it's a buyer presentation or a listing presentation. Your presentation needs to be on point. And what I mean by that is it has to be clear. What kind of value are you delivering to this client? Why are you different than everyone else in the marketplace? What sets you apart? Is it your experience? Is it your skill set? Is it your previous result? In these presentations, you need to handle the top objections within them. The presentation should answer those objections. Why you are the best choice for this job. What makes you unique? Why are you the person that should help them find a home, help them sell a home, and why it is a no-brainer, an obvious next step for them to sign on the dotted line. If your presentation doesn't do this right now, or it's too generic, you're not going to get the result that you want. So many agents complain that they get these appointments and they're unable to convert them. They're not sure. Make sure that your buyer and listing presentations are awesome, because that is a key factor in getting success from these internet leads. You do not have the advantage of them coming from your database. They do not know, like, and trust you. You've got to build that trust. You've got to build that relationship. Use everything you can, everything at your disposal. Past results, testimonials, any tips and tricks. What makes you unique? Are you a tech-enabled agent? Anything you can. Do you have a VIP buyer program? Access to off-market properties? Whatever it is that's going to set you apart, use it, and you have a higher chance of converting that lead into a signed client. This is where it's important to mention some statistics. The top people in the industry, when dealing with unmet internet leads, convert them at 25 to 30%. That is a solid, a very good conversion rate. If that lead is coming from your database, it should be at least 50 to 70%, probably 90%. If it's coming from your database, you should nail that presentation. But if it's an unmet internet lead, 25 to 30% is an excellent conversion rate. You might need to have 3 to 4 appointments with these leads to get a signed deal. That is important to understand. Set the right expectation. Don't expect to close 50% of them off the bat. I mean, if you do, that's amazing, but understand what the averages are and where you need to be. If it takes you 10 appointments with internet leads to get a signed client or a signed buyer, you've got some work to do. You've got some homework from Gus. Get a coach, talk to a more experienced agent, shoot me a message and see if someone can help you out. Bump up your game, improve that presentation so it converts like a top performer. In this second conversion, scripting is key. You have to have that presentation almost memorized. Make it your own, sound natural, but you need to know what to say. Scripting is so important here. And at the end, let's say they're actually not ready to sign on the dotted line. They need to do this, they need to do that. You have to try and handle that objection to try and get them to give you the real reason that's holding them back. And it might be a fair reason. It might be a real reason they need to wait. That's fine. You also need to follow up like a beast, like a pro with these appointment leads. They are your hottest pipeline. the people most likely to convert and become clients of yours. You'd be surprised so many people attend a listing presentation, a buyer presentation, they don't sign and they don't get a call back from them. They don't get an additional email from them. Adding value, requesting more information, showing current results, giving them more reasons to work with you. Make sure you're following up, even at this stage. Okay, great. You've signed them up as a client. Well, guess what? You're not done yet. In this market, you still need a third conversion to happen for that deal to close. That third conversion is conversion to pending transaction. You've got an agreement signed between your client and the other party. That is really tough to do. And I'm going to focus here, especially on buyer leads. This is particularly important with agents that work with a lot of internet leads that are buyers. We are in a hot seller's market in most of the US and Canada. This is a fact. If you are working with clients that are unmotivated and unqualified, you're not just wasting their time, they're wasting your time. Be sure to understand what a great, solid client looks like and stick to that criteria. This third conversion is all about taking that qualified lead, that qualified buyer in this example, and getting them to put their best foot forward and make competitive offers that can win in this market. You'd be surprised how many instances I see of agents complaining about their clients not making strong offers. I honestly feel a lot of the responsibility is on the agent. You need to use scripting, objection handling like a professional to get your buyer to put their best foot forward. I'll give you an example. I'm talking to a buyer. They see a home. They like a home. In this market, of course, it's going to have competition. If you have a buyer shying away from competition, you need to talk to them seriously and give them a pep talk. The best homes are going to have multiple offers. I can win this property if you follow my advice. It's going to give us a better chance of coming out on top. And a competitive offer needs to be in this range with these kinds of contingencies or different options for that seller. Do your job as the agent. Talk to the listing agent. Find out what the seller wants. Have options for your clients. How do you best meet those needs? And only show your client properties where they can put in a competitive offer. If you have buyers that are losing and losing, and you are not taking that as an opportunity to coach and educate them on current market conditions, I feel you're doing them a disservice. The third conversion is all about getting your buyers to step up and put in the best possible offer that has the best chance of getting accepted in this market. And that's it, folks. Those are the three key conversions that the top teams understand, that the top teams have scripts for, they have objection handlers for. They hold their teammates accountable to making sure they get great results from these leads, from these different conversions. If you're an agent, whether you're solo or on a team, and you have no script, you've got no process, you've got no way to measure and hold yourself accountable to results in each one of these conversions, there's no way you're going to get some of the top results at converting these leads. You need all three conversions to be on point to get the best possible result. Hopefully this has been useful for you guys. If it was, please crush that subscribe button. We release a new video with top tips and tricks every single week.